Forrest Warner here again to talk to you a little bit about a new piece of technology coming to campus. We've started implementing some new document cameras in the classrooms as they've been getting upgraded over this past summer. And we wanted to go over some of the controls that you would see when using them. It can be a little bit confusing compared to the old document cameras, but once you use them a little bit, you'll see that it really does function a lot of the same ways. The two styles of document cameras that we have gotten, it has a very traditional style that we're used to on campus. Like the Wolf Vision, it has a flat bed for you to put your documents on, as well as a camera mounted on the stem. Please make note that the power button for this document camera is on the bottom right. If it's off, if it's red, if it's blue, it's on. You should also see an image on the little screen on the bottom of the document camera, which is nice because it's a little confidence monitor for you as the user, so you don't have to necessarily look behind you to look up at the projector. You can look right at that screen and make sure you're seeing what you're seeing. One thing in particular to note about this document camera when it powers up, this one does take a little bit to power up. So if it's not on when you come into a space, and you're planning on using it, start it up. It takes 45 seconds, minute to get going. Down on the control surface, you'll see there are multiple buttons that are touch sensitive. You'll see 4 main buttons. There's two under a word saying recording. One is you can, if you use an SD card or USB stick, you can put it into the slots on the side of the document camera, and whenever you wanted to take a still, you could hit the camera image button. It'll take a snapshot of whatever's being shown on the document camera, or you can also hit the recording button. So if you wanted to do a small demonstration, this is a way to do that on the fly, utilizing just the document camera without needing to be plugged into a computer or anything like that. Below those 2 buttons, you'll see the image operations buttons. And the button on the left is actually a rotate button. So if you want the image for some reason to be rotated, you hit that button and it will turn the image 180 degrees. So if for some reason you're putting something on the document camera and it comes in upside down, hit that button right there, and that'll flip it 180 degrees. The button next to that is a snowflake, and if it's always cold when you have snowflakes, so I think they're trying to refer to freezing. So if you hit that button, a little indicator will come up on the screen there, and it will show a snowflake, and I can take the document away or make changes or do whatever, and then the image will continue to stay up on the screen until I hit that button again. There are 2 ways to zoom using this document camera. Up on the camera head itself, there is a physical controller that you can turn and zoom out, however you see fit. But down on the control surface on the right side, I'm sure you will have noticed that there's a little wheel. Now the wheel itself, if you spin it to the right, you'll zoom in. There's a little AF button in the middle, so if for some reason you're not getting focus, you can hit that autofocus button and it should find focus for you in the center of the image. Some additional buttons, there are some important buttons. Right to the left of the screen, there are 3 symbols. Top one, if you hit it, information will pop up on the screen, and it's for brightness settings. But it's also where you'll find the button for lighting. So if you're looking for the light, that's where that control is hiding. One thing to note is that these cameras do well in relatively low lighting. I am not currently using lighting on the document camera, and it's able to show that image very well. You may not find that you need lighting, but that's where that is hiding. In case you need to get to it. Second button down on the left of the screen, let's go ahead and hit that. So this is what this is image select. So it's basically like selecting a source on your television at home. And by default, this document camera will use its camera that's built into it. But it also allows for you to plug in USB stick, an SD card for showing imagery. There's no real reason that we would want to do that, because it's easier to do that kind of thing utilizing your laptop or resident computer in the space, and that's what we would recommend if you wanted to do that. Some of the other options, you can select different HDMI inputs or RGB, which is VGA. What this actually works as is sort of like a switcher. So you can have computers plugged into, there's actually two HDMI inputs on the back and a VGA on the back that you could plug into that would route that video out into a projector is a way to switch between document camera, switch between a computer. Also, you can do it on one HDMI cable. It's meant to make this more portable and usable for various types of setups. Last one on the bottom left there next to the screen, we're gonna hit that. That should be the settings button. If you're having issues that need settings changed, it's probably something that you should come and check out. But for the most part, it goes through settings regarding what kind of format do you record? What's the USB going to do when it's plugged into a computer? And if anybody wants to learn more about that, we're happy to sit down and talk with them about that and go over it. Now we're going to talk about the second model of the document camera that we've gotten, and you'll probably start to see these more in conference spaces with large tables with many people sitting around them. What's nice about these is their footprint is relatively small. It does have kind of a big head that kind of arches out and takes up some space, but underneath, overall, it takes up very little tabletop space. It has a lot of the same functions as the previous document camera. It even utilizes a lot of the same symbols, so we'll cover those quite quickly here. If we're to look at the main panel, you'll see the power button. Similar to the other model, it does take a little bit to start up, so if you are planning to use this before class, feel free to start it at the beginning of class and let it go. It'll take about 30 seconds to start up. The standard controls that we're used to, the rotate button. With this one, as you click it, the image will turn the camera image 90 degrees each time until you come all the way back around. You can also freeze images, same thing, snowflake image here. When you click it here, it'll also show up on the screen being projected so that you know that you are frozen. The lighting controls for this document camera are up near the camera head. There's a little on-off switch. Turn it on, the light should pop up, pop on, turn it off, it should turn right off. It's a little bit easier to find that switch on this document camera compared to the other one, but just make sure if you're not using it, turn off the light switch. Same thing, the camera seems to be of quality enough that you might not necessarily need to use the lighting switch as well. So if you don't need it, don't use it. The zoom controls and the autofocus button are up on the almost opposite end to the light switch. There's a little gray knob here with a that rotates, minus and plus, zooms in, zooms out. If for some reason you zoom in on something and you're out of focus, it should either find it itself, or if it's having a little trouble, you can push that orange button on the end of the camera head there, and that should prompt it to find focus again. Also similar to the other model, this document camera has a switching function, and it has a single HDMI input in the back. It does also have SD card readers, and it has a USB stick reader that you can play back files with. Again, there's no real need to utilize these functions, so if for some reason you turn on the document camera and you're getting a black image, double check to make sure that the leftmost button, the one that looks like the document camera, is lit blue. You'll see the menu button there. We're going to avoid using the menu button because you shouldn't need to access any of the settings. If that was the case, please call AV. You'll notice the camera symbol on the top here. That is to take still images and save them to an SD card or USB stick. Same thing with the bottom here, the one that's shaped like a camera. If you wanted to record some audio and video of you doing something with a document camera, you could do that. We do recommend that you use the computer hookup in the computer itself to do those kinds of things, but if you would like to learn more, please contact AV and we'll go over those functions with you. Same as with the other document camera, this one can be plugged into via USB 3. and be utilized as a webcam. Same thing, if you're in Zoom or something similar, just make sure you select it like you would any other webcam. It should pop up as something like DocCam. I believe this is 12F, which is the model number of the document camera. Thank you for taking a look at these videos. We respond to feedback, so please, if you have any issues or concerns with these document cameras, please feel free to email the audiovisual team at avs@hamilton.edu. This video should work as an instructional video, but if you're still having any issues, please feel free to contact us and we can meet with you to go over the controls as well. All right, thank you so much. Bye.